Jimmy, are you still there? All right, guys. I think Cindy is self-muted and muted by organizer. Give me 1 second. Self-muted. All right, Jimmy, you must be having that noise that you were talking about in the background. So just come in when you can. All right, everybody, welcome to the Senior Solutions Friday Agency Call. My name's Joe Johnson. I'm with my guest host, Jimmy Hernandez, agency director out in San Antonio, Texas. And got a great show lined up for you. So thanks for hopping on. We're going to get this recorded. We'll get it on to our YouTube channel and possibly, once I go through it, if the content's really good, we may get it added to the website as well. Today is Friday. Yesterday was Veterans Day. So since we're so close, I'd like to take an opportunity and wish all of our active service members and everybody who has served before certainly a happy Veterans Day. As you can see, I'm wearing my Marine Corps hat and my Bears, my salute to the Armed Services Chicago Bears jersey. So happy Veterans Day, everybody. Just a real quick comment. I just wanted to put this up in case you didn't know. Certain parts of the country, it seems like we run into more veterans than others, especially if you are working or you're living in an area that has a big military presence. Maybe you've got a military base that's relatively close, like, I know like in San Antonio, there's a big base there. And in situations like that, you will run into more people that are veterans, and not always, but it always seems like there seems to be a little bit of confusion about what the VA does and does not cover as far as burial benefits. Today's webinar is not on that. I just want to make the comment that we do have a consumer-friendly VA burial benefit training video out there. I'm going to leave a description in the link below so you have it. If you'd like for me to send it to you, I'll send it to you. But what I mean by being consumer friendly, if you're doing your presentation and you're sitting with that person who is retired military, or maybe they didn't retire, but they're a veteran, if they're under the assumption that the VA is going to cover everything, this is where you want to pull up on your phone and show them that that video. It's pretty short, it's not that long, but it really kind of goes into detail and explains what is and what is not covered. Like I said, I'll leave a description in the link below. Actually, today's topic is going to be on door knocking made easy. And the reason why I thought I would cover this is sometimes I don't want to say get in the habit, but I guess I assume that because we have so much training online that, everyone knows how to door knock, or everyone knows the procedure. And the reason why I wanted to do this is that we just actually, Jimmy and I just had a big training event down in South Texas. We had a lot of great agents that came in. We did some role playing on door knocking, and what I came to the realization is that just because we're providing the training out there doesn't mean everyone's like really proficient. A lot of agents that we were working with were really struggling on getting the door knocking down. So I thought we'd just do a quick training session today on door knocking, kind of go over how to make it easy. And we're going to go over the scripts and how to overcome some basic objections. But we thought we would do this quick training video today and just kind of go over door knocking. We do have some great material out there. The biggest thing I can tell you about door knock, and I'm sure Jimmy will echo this as well. The biggest thing I can tell you, man, is just keep it simple. So today what I want to do is just give you some quick and easy tips. And this is, I guess you can say this is geared more towards for the newer agent versus the veteran. I mean, if you're already an expert on door knocking and you're not having any issues, maybe this training call is not for you. But for most of us, sometimes it's good just to kind of get a refresher, kind of get back to basics, if you will. So the first thing I want to cover is on door knocking is about keeping it simple. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is when you're going out to door knock, especially for newer agents, you really want to narrow down your portfolio of carriers. So, if you're in the process and you're contracted, even when I go out, like I'm contracted with, every carrier that Senior Solutions offers. But when I go out to door knock, man, I'm narrowing it down to like 2, maybe 3 carriers plus a guaranteed issue company. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to go out there and be fumbling around and try to deal with like 7 different carriers. So keep it simple, narrow it down to 2, I would say really honestly 2 carriers plus like a Gerber or whoever your go-to AIG, Gerber, whoever your go-to guaranteed issue company is going to be. Have your 2 main carriers, have your backup for your guaranteed issue if you need to go guaranteed issue. The other thing on these carriers is be 100% prepared and understand that particular carrier exact procedure. And that's the reason why I say it's important to narrow it down to like 2 or 3 carriers, because if you go out there and you're like ready to write like 5 different carriers, you pull up your, use the FEX toolkit, you narrowed it down, then you can't remember, oh, am I supposed to do a paper app? Is the e-app? Do I have to do a phone interview? What's the procedure? So what I found, if I just narrow it down to just a couple of carriers, it's really easy. It's easier for me to be mentally prepared and know exactly and precisely. And if I need to brush up on exactly what that carrier's procedure is, this way, when I go out and I'm sitting with the client, I don't look like an idiot. I know exactly what I'm doing. I got the procedure down. I can do an e-app, I can do a paper app. I know if there's a phone call that needs to be made, if there's no phone call, exactly what to do. So make sure you know some carriers require a phone interview, some of them don't. So that's why it's just easier if you narrow it down. The other thing too is that make sure you have all the forms required. Now, I know a lot of agents out there are doing are trying to do e-applications only, which I think is awesome. E-apps is keeps you from making mistakes. But even if your plan is, and even if you're proficient doing e-applications, make sure that you have backup paper applications, because you don't want to get out there and you're doing an e-application, and for whatever reason you lose your internet connection, you can't get logged in, just something goes wrong. You don't want to have to go back. So just make sure that you've got all the forms necessary to do a paper application. Okay, here's another tip. Make sure that if you're doing e-applications, whether you're using a laptop or a tablet, before you go out, make sure everything is connected properly. Make sure the internet on your tablet is working if you're using a hotspot. I know a lot of agents, they have tablets that they purchased through their cellular carriers. So instead of having to connect to their phone, they automatically, like their tablet has basically like its own service that they can use. So before you go out, just make sure that it's connecting properly. You're able to get a service. Don't this is a mistake that I've seen agents make. Don't automatically assume that when you get to the client's house, you're going to be able to connect to their Wi-Fi, because one is, what if they don't have Wi-Fi? And I've seen this where you try to connect to the client's Wi-Fi, but their kids set it up and they don't even know the password. So just make sure you got don't rely upon your client's internet connection to connect your laptop. Make sure you got your 100% independent, you got all the connections that you need. On your tablet or laptop, also make sure that you have all the passwords stored for the carrier portal. So if you're going to do an e-app and you're going to log into your tablet, before you go out, just double check it. Like if you're going to use, I don't even want to say a carrier's name. Type in the carrier, go to the agent portal, start the e-application, make sure all the passwords are saved and it's working seamless. The other thing, which is kind of a handy thing to do, is have a password cheat sheet saved on your phone. Just for some weird reason, if you're logging into the agent portal and maybe you accidentally, you cleared you refreshed your computer, you cleared your cookies and your passwords aren't saved anymore, you don't want to be fumbling around with that. Does that make sense? Just make sure that you're 100% prepared. The other big thing, tool, if you're door knocking, man, you got to be using the FEX toolkit. FEX toolkit, I think I put a slide up. Let me see here. Oh, if I didn't mention this, if you're in the video, I forgot to mention this. Let me just, I kind of got sidetracked here just for a second, but if you're checking us out and you're watching this video on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We put out, Senior Solutions puts out new content every single week. Subscribe, make sure you click the notification bell. This way, every time we put out a new video, you're gonna get a notification that there's a new video to watch. So I appreciate everybody who subscribes to our channel. All right. FEX Toolkit. What is FEX Toolkit? If you're watching this, you don't know what it is. It's a all-inclusive quoting and underwriting tool that you can download to your phone, or you can use it on your tablet. You can either connect to it, or you can download the app to your phone, either way, or your desktop. But the FEX Toolkit is something that we use, that we're able to go in and we're able to actually do all the underwriting. You can put in all the client's medications or their health conditions, and it will tell you exactly what carrier to use. Also, you can do a 3-option worksheet with that as well. So once you identify, hey, I'm going to be using XYZ carrier, that's the, based on my client's health conditions, this is going to be the best carrier. Then there's an option to do a comparison where you can put in 3 different quotes and it will automatically spit out. Makes it a lot easier when you're filling out your 3-option worksheet, that you don't have to go back and forth. So that's that. What I was going to say about the FEX Toolkit, just before you go out and start door knocking, open it up on your phone. Make sure it's working properly. The other thing that you should do is that you should customize it. So if you get signed up for FEX Toolkit, when you go in, you run quotes, it's going to pull up every carrier that we have. That may be confusing because we have about, I don't know, I'd say if you pull up FEX Toolkit and you count every carrier, there's probably at least 15 to 20 carriers that are going to pop up on FEX Toolkit. So when I'm out door knocking and I'm out in a client's house and I'm using my FEX Toolkit, and I know that I've already narrowed my choices down to 3 carriers, maybe 4 with a guaranteed issue, I don't want 20 different carriers popping up. So what I will do is, when I'm going out and door knocking, before I go out, I will customize my FEX toolkit so it only shows the carriers that I'm ready to present. Because if you're using FEX toolkit on your phone, or maybe you're using it on your tablet, and your client happens to be sitting right next to you, and maybe there's a carrier that is positioned that you don't want to use, but your client sees it on your phone or sees it on your tablet, you just don't want to get into a conversation. Oh, what about, oh, I see, what about that company? Can we go with that company? And maybe you're not prepared to use that company, or that's not a company that you want to use for whatever reason. So when you open up FEX Toolkit on your phone or your tablet, the screen that you see now on the computer, this is what you're going to see. Let me put my cursor here. Quoter / underwriter. This is where you go when you're ready to run a quote. What I want you to do is, before you go out and door knock, is click right here where it says customization options. Click right there. And what that's going to do, it's going to open up a window with all your carriers. And then you can see there's a little toggle switch. You can toggle on and off all the carriers. And there's going to be a long list. Like I said, probably 15 or 20. So if you're going out and door knocking and you are prepared with only 2 carriers, only select those 2 carriers. Hang on, sorry about that. Let me put my phone on mute. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If you need help with this on how to do it, let me know. But it's really, honestly, it's as easy as opening up FEX Toolkit on your phone, click customization options, and then just using your finger and toggling back and forth what carriers that you want to see. The other thing that I want to talk about is just being organized. So we talked a little bit about making sure that you have all the right forms, that you're not going out with like a bunch of different carriers you're not prepared to quote. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you are planning your route at least the day before. One thing you don't want to do is you just don't want to, you get your leads in, you don't want to take a handful of leads and go out and just like randomly, go from one house to another. You want to get your leads organized, organize them by, the city or the zip code. The easiest way to do it is get Road Warrior downloaded to your phone. Okay, this is a route optimization tool that you can use where you can put in all your leads, pick the ones that you want to be running for that particular day, and you click a button that says optimize. It's going to optimize and tell you exactly where to go. So we're not going to get into details on Road Warrior. I think we do have other training on our website about Road Warrior. And there's also, if you go to YouTube and type in, Road Warrior route planning tool, there's a bunch of videos on how to use it, and you can figure out whether or not it's something that you want to get. But one thing that when I first got started, I kind of date myself, like Road Warrior wasn't there. I think there were I was using like MapQuest, and where I would actually physically print out like a map on how to get to the person's house. Nowadays, man, it's so easy with with navigation on your phone and being able to purchase Road Warrior. So with this, what I want to transition into now is go over the script. And the biggest thing I can tell you about the script is really keeping it simple. What I'm finding is that agents, when they're going out and door knocking, is that they're getting off script, and they're really using language that's not in the script. Next thing you know, they're having conversations about life insurance, and it just, if you keep it simple And if you use what I'm going to be covering today, as far as, you know, how to do a proper door knock and what you should and should not be saying, it's going to make it so much easier. Jimmy, let me see if you are, let me get back there.
I'm here, Joe.
Let me see if you are available. Are you able to maybe speak a little bit in role play?
Sure, sure. I'll just say this. We actually touched on this last week when we were in Harlingen, but you know, usually what happens is agents, you know, they get frustrated because when they get to the door and they, you know, they start talking to the people, they say, well, you know what? They said that they weren't interested anymore. And if you're getting that, like, oh no, we're not interested. If you're getting that objection, then that needs to be a red flag for you, because that means that you're getting off script. Because if you're getting that we're not interested, that means that you're bringing that objection out by something that you're telling them. You're adding too much, or you're talking about insurance. So you know, I guess let's start with that. Would you agree, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, at the end, yeah, I mean, whenever I'm working with an agent and they tell me, oh yeah, I door knocked this lead, and they tell me they weren't interested, I always got to kind of scratch my head and think, what is it that you said that prompted them to say that they weren't interested? You know what I mean? You know, they filled out, you know, it just goes back to like, they filled out a form. I mean, they filled out a form to request information about state regulated final expense plan. So you're telling me they're no longer interested in receiving the information in which they requested? Like, it just doesn't, you know, unless you're totally getting off script, it honestly doesn't make sense. So with that, without, you know, any further ado, I'm just going to kind of go over my door knock script and what I say. So, you know, I like knocking on the door, physically knocking on the door. If there's a doorbell, sometimes I'll ring the doorbell and I will knock, but I will knock vigorously. I don't necessarily want to, you know, pound on it like I'm the police or something, but I do want to tap on that door pretty hard. You know, especially if the house is set up where chances are, you know, like the front door and you can see there's like a living room there, and then maybe the kitchen's in the back. You want to knock hard enough where it doesn't sound like you're banging the door in, but hard enough that someone's in there, they're going to hear it. Or if they have a dog, the dog's going to alert them. If they have a side door, like if they have a carport on the side and there's a side door, a lot of times I'll knock on the, you know, knock on the side door, knock on the front door. So I'll knock on all the doors. But here's what we'll do. I'll do my door knock. You answer the door, and I'm going to do my door knock script exactly the way I do it, as if I were out in the field. I'm not going to change anything, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to door knock you.
Good morning.
Oh, hello. Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
Hey, Jimmy, my name's Joe Johnson. I'm the state licensed agent who oversees your area. The reason why I stopped by is that you had recently filled out this form requesting information about the state regulated programs to cover final expenses. My job is just to help with the enrollment process. It really only takes a few minutes. May I come in?
What's this about, Joe?
Jimmy, I'm glad you asked. Jimmy, here's what I can tell you is that most of the people that requested this information, they tell me that their main concern is they just want to make sure is that when they do pass away, they're not leaving their family with a financial burden. I'm assuming that was your concern as well?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, Jimmy, it only takes a few minutes. May I come in?
Okay, yeah, come on in.
So I'm gonna just, guys, I'm just gonna go back to that. So a couple of things that I'm gonna talk about that may not be that obvious is that when I knock on the door and Jimmy comes out and he says hello and I'm doing my script, when I get to the part where I say, and you had filled out this form, that's when I'm taking the lead card and I'm actually physically handing it to Jimmy so he can look at it. Okay. Sometimes I'll even hand him my whole clipboard. Like if I got my clipboard there and I may have 20 leads attached to it, I want to kind of let Jimmy know, hey, he's not the only one requesting the information. And I don't know if this has happened to you, Jimmy, but inherently, when I hand them the clipboard and they look at it, they automatically start thumbing through all the other leads. Does that happen to you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I said, oh, those are your neighbors, or those are other people that have requested the information just like you did. Oh, okay. Just the top one pertains to you. And that's it. I mean, that is the door knock script in a nutshell. And all I can tell you is that if you're doing something other than that, you're doing it wrong. If you're adding anything, if you're deleting something. So the biggest thing I can tell you about door knocking is just keeping it simple. We don't mention the words life insurance. When the client asks, oh, what's this about? You simply use the terminology, that I use. And what I have found, Jimmy, is that if you keep to the script, and if you keep to the script, number one is that you're automatically going to eliminate objections. Okay, because if you do it the way we do it, like how is it they can say they're not interested? Because we already let them know we're not talking about buying life insurance. All we're talking about is the form that they filled out about the state regulated programs. I'm here just to help complete the enrollment process or deliver the information in which you requested. I like the enrollment process myself. I mean, you can make slight modifications to the script to accommodate the way you talk or the way people talk in your particular area, or to accommodate what's comfortable, the words that are comfortable in your vocabulary, but you can't change it. You can't change the script that much. So anything, just give me some feedback on that, Jimmy, and let me know if there's anything you want to add or comment on about the door knock script.
Yeah. So I think what happens is people start off with the script and then slowly but surely they start leaving things off. And then before they realize it, they're not even doing the script. They're doing something totally different, right? And so the common thing that I hear from agents is they go out there, the person asks, well, what was this about? And then they say, oh, well, this is about, getting life insurance to pay for your final expenses. So, I mean, it comes out of the agent's mouth right away. Or maybe because the name badge says state licensed agent, right? And some of these people can read that. They ask, is this life insurance? And rather than just saying yes, and I know you want to be honest, we're not trying to, trick them or anything, but you don't have to respond that way. You can simply give them the same response as if they asked, what is this about? Right? So like, can we just role play that real quick? That one part, you're the agent and I say, well, Joe, is this about life insurance?
I'm sorry, who's the agent?
You are.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is
So I do my script and you say, oh, okay, got it.
is this life insurance?
Jimmy, this program, and I've been doing this for a long time, what I have found is that most of the people that send this card in, they tell me that their main concern is they just want to make sure is that when they do pass away, they're not leaving their family with a financial burden. I'm assuming that was your concern as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if they were to come back and say, oh, how would you handle it, Jimmy,
Oops, I'm sorry.
if the client comes back, oh, Okay, but is this about life insurance?
I mean, if they ask a second time, then I guess I would say yes. You've already been pre-approved. May I come in?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to lie to them, but the
No,
thing
of
is,
course not.
you can redirect them the first time to get in the house, and this is where so many agents miss it because not too many people are going to ask a second time. I can just tell you by experience, right? So if you think about the amount of money you spend on leads, I always look at that as that's a precious commodity, right? So you're not going to sell anybody a policy if you don't actually get to sit down and make a presentation, right? So
True.
you need to get into the home as often as possible and increase your probability of making sales, increase those numbers. So again, the best way to get in front of that person is just redirect that question and go back to what the real root, right, is what you're looking for. The real root is you know they don't want to leave their families unprotected. They don't want to have that financial burden, right? So that's all that question is doing, is redirecting back to the root cause or the root reason why they requested information. That's going to trigger something in them. They're going to welcome you in the home. And then once you're in the home, you can sit down and you do your presentation.
Right.
Um, so, I mean,
Well, the other thing too is that um, just from personal experience, it, you know, if I get a client, first of all, I don't want agents to think that's a common, and it's not even an objection, it's really a question. So like if a client does say, or prospect does say, oh, is this about life insurance? Could be a positive thing. Maybe they were looking for life insurance. I don't know. I guess my point is if you follow the script um, properly, is that really doesn't come up. Um, them asking about, oh, is it life insurance? So the biggest thing about, you know, delivering the script properly, it's not just about the words that you're saying, but it's about how you're delivering it. So it needs to be delivered in a very, as a matter of factly process, is that, it's like you're delivering something from Amazon, or they ordered the package. Your job is to deliver the package. There shouldn't be any questions. They filled the form out. And I can just tell you that for me personally, when I have that lead card, it's just so empowering to know, and it builds my personal confidence that I know that this person requested the information. So I think the more you get comfortable with door knocking, and you want to have that, what I would refer to as relaxed confidence. And I think when you're knocking on the door and you have that relaxed confidence, like like you're not randomly knocking on somebody's door. We're not canvassing neighborhoods. These are people that solicited you. They filled out a form requesting information. And I think once you process that, once you internalize it, I think it becomes a lot easier to go out and just, have fun with it. And it's just very, as a matter of factly, you're knocking on the door, they come out, you introduce yourself, you tell them why you're there, and you're asking for permission to come in. So, oh yeah, I can hear a little bit of it's not even that loud. So Jimmy, did you mute, or are you still available?
okay, I muted for a second as soon as I heard the power tools come on.
Yeah,
So,
you can barely hear it though. It's like really in the background. So I'm gonna door knock again. Let me see how much time we got, because I do have actually got a meeting I gotta get to. Just so everybody can hear it, I'm gonna door knock one more time, and then we're gonna cover we kind of covered what's this about, which again is not an objection, but I want to cover a few other things like, oh, I'm busy, or can you come back later? I want to kind of work on giving you some techniques as far as how I personally handle that. So door knock script one more time. Knock, knock, knock. Jimmy, you're going to come out.
Hello?
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Jimmy. My name's Joe, and I'm the state licensed agent who oversees your area. And the reason why I was stopping by is that you had recently filled out this form about the state regulated programs to cover final expenses. And my job is simply just to help with the enrollment process. It honestly only takes a few minutes. May I come in?
Sure, come on in.
Okay, he's going to let me in. Now, what do you do when the client says, "Oh, I'm kind of busy right now. Can you come back later?" Okay. Do you want to handle that, or you want me to handle it, and then you can tell me how you do it?
Um, I'll let you handle it first.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
here's what I like doing. Client says, "Oh, I'm really busy. Can you come back later?" First thing I want to do is agree with them. Okay. So I'll just kind of role play it. Tell me that you're busy. Can I come back?
well, Joe, it's not a good time for me. I'm kind of busy right now.
Jimmy, no problem. I totally understand. I caught you off guard. Out of curiosity, when would be a better time to catch you at home?
A little bit later in the day.
So you're saying today, but just a little bit later?
Yeah, like I don't know. I gotta pick up the kids from school, so I don't maybe after 4.
After 4 o'clock? All right, no problem. I can set that up for 4 o'clock. The only thing is, Jimmy, I do cover a pretty big territory, and sometimes it is kind of hard to come back just for one person. Any way possible, could you do me just a small favor? I promise you, this only takes a few minutes. If you could spare just a few minutes, that would allow me to just kind of go over the programs real quick, explain to you how they work, and if you have any questions, I can answer questions and get out of your hair. Would that be okay?
I really don't have time right now, Joe. I got to get going.
No problem. I just wanted to make that offer. I'm going to go ahead and put you down for 4 o'clock later today. And just give me, if it's okay, Jimmy, just, depending on traffic, we'll just say somewhere between 4 and 4:30. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to rebook it. I'm not going to push it, but I'm going to rebook. I'm going to rebook it for 4 o'clock. But I just want to make sure is that he's just not blowing me off. And is there an opportunity for me to get in right then and there?
Mhm.
A lot of times, Jimmy, what I find is when someone says, "Oh, I'm kind of busy," I want to give them the out first. I don't want to seem like I'm confrontational and I'm super pushy. So I give them the out. I ask them when they would be more available. Okay. They give me the time. Then I'll go back and I say, Jimmy, and like I said, I'll just repeat it. But you'll be surprised of the clients who say, "Oh, well, if it only takes a few minutes, sure." Okay. I at least want to, get in the house, even if I got to come back, at least get in the house to see whether or not this is somebody I should be going back for. Because I mean, honestly, in 5 to 10 minutes, I mean, wouldn't you agree, Jimmy? Usually within 5 to 10 minutes, if you got a deal or not.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, if they're buyers. So
Mhm.
again, how I'm going to phrase it is they're going to say they're busy. I'm going to say, "No problem. I can come back later. We agree upon a time." I say, Jimmy, the thing about it is that it is really hard sometimes for me to come back just for one person because I do cover a really big territory. This honestly, it only takes a few minutes for me to go over the programs with you and answer any questions you have. Would that be okay? Can you do me a favor? Can you spare a few minutes? Oh, okay. If it's only going to be a few minutes, yeah, sure. And I'm going to get in and I'm going to do my best to make a presentation. What I have found is um, once I'm in, maybe they were cooking, you know what I mean? Or, doing a cross, chances are they really weren't as busy as they made you to believe that they were. But sometimes, I mean, literally, I'll be pulling up to a house and they're like coming out of the house, they're backing out of the driveway, like they're on their way to an appointment, I'll try to stop them real quick, explain who I am, and then rebook for a different time. But I know you wanted to maybe add or talk a little bit about how you handle the situation when someone says that they're busy, and if you could come back or not.
Pretty much it's the same thing, Joe. I just really, try to set it up for a open-ended time. So like if I'd say, are you, well, I would start by saying, I'm gonna be in the area today and tomorrow. What would be the best time for me to swing back by? If they say something like, after 3 or something like that, then I'll say, okay, well, I'll swing back sometime after 3, or if they say tomorrow before noon, then I would just leave it open like that. Okay, I'll stop by sometime tomorrow morning before noon. I might ask, well, what's the earliest I can get here? I don't want to, disturb your sleep. Most people are going to say, oh, I get up early. You can come at 8, or but I still throw that out there. Um, so I don't try to necessarily book it like right at a 4 o'clock or right. Yeah, I just try to leave that open ended because I am outdoor knocking and I don't want to, maybe I'm in front of another client doing a presentation. I don't want to cut myself short because I got to run off to this other guy. You know what I mean? So just kind of leave it open.
Yeah, the other thing too is if you are, like you said, man, if you book it at 4:30 and you're 20, 30 minutes away and you're in the middle of a presentation, man, like don't cut your presentation short. Finish it. If you show up to the appointment that you had at 4, you show up at 5 o'clock, just be apologetic that you got tied up. The other thing too is that if I am running late for an appointment, I don't call. I just show up and apologize, because if you call, they're going to tell you, oh, well, I'm busy or whatever. They're going to try to somehow blow you off. So if you're running late for the appointment, just show up, be apologetic that you're late, and go from there. The other question that I get from agents a lot is when they're going out door knocking, are they going to book? Are they door knocking to meet with clients right then and there, or are they door knocking for the next day? So there's kind of two rules of thought on that. For me personally, when I'm out door knocking and I'm not doing any preset appointments, okay, so I'm not working with an appointment setter and I'm not calling to my leads to try to preset. I'm in door knocking mode, okay? When I'm in that door knocking mode, I'm looking to get in a house like right then and there. So when I'm in door knocking mode, I'm not trying to book appointments for later that day. I'm not trying to book appointments for tomorrow. If I get that client, they open the door, I'm always trying to get in right then and there. There may be some circumstances where, maybe I'm trying to book for the next day. But my philosophy is what's the old saying? A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Okay. So if I got a bird in the hand, I'm going for it like right then and there. And to be honest with you, that's where I've had my best luck and some of my best production weeks and months is when I just go out and just purely door knock. I never, don't do any preset appointments unless like we said, unless it's a situation where they're not available, they need for me to come back later that day or the next day or the next week, whatever it is. I'm always trying to get in the house right then and there. Any thoughts on that, Jimmy, as far as and this is especially for agents if you got other stuff going on, but if you're a final expense agent, you're 100% like this is your bread and butter. I'm a big believer in door knocking, meeting them right then and there, writing the application right there on the spot.
Yeah, I'm good with that, Joe.
Any thoughts on that? Yeah, okay. Let me see if we have any questions. If not, we'll go ahead and end this. If you guys raise your hand if you have any questions, or if we have anybody that wants to role play their phone script, I can, or if there's an objection that, maybe we didn't cover. But honestly, if you're door knocking and you're doing the script properly, other than, I'm busy, and I don't have time right now, what's this about? You really shouldn't be getting any other objections. Is this life insurance? I'm not interested. Maybe, but here's what I can tell you about the if you do, if that can of worms opens up, and we'll go ahead and cover it because I think I should cover it. If you get that I'm not interested, because, oh, is this life insurance? Yes, it's life insurance. But these are the state regulated programs. You explain it to them. It only takes you a few minutes. I come in, you in with that. Well, can you just take me off your list? I'm not interested at this time. I still want to try to overcome that objection. And basically what I would say with that, Jimmy, is Jimmy, I totally understand you're not interested at this time. The only thing is that it's just my job, and I am required just to go over the information in which you requested. I know you're not interested, but if you just give me a couple of minutes, I promise you it'll only take about 5 minutes. Let me at least go over the information with you, explain how the programs work. I'll answer any questions. I'll leave you some literature. This way, later down the road, if you change your mind, if you do become interested, you'll at least have the information. It only takes a few minutes, I come in. Okay, so that's how I'm going to try to overcome the I'm not interested information. I'm not going to get into why aren't you interested? Aren't you concerned about, leaving your family with a debt? I'm going to pose it back to, hey, it's just my job. Again, I know you're not interested, Jimmy. It's no problem. I'll even say this. Client says, I'm not interested. Jimmy, no problem. I understand you're not interested. That'll actually make my job a whole lot easier. It's only because you did fill the form out. I'm just required to deliver you the information in which you requested. Does that make sense? So then I'll go back and say, hey, let me just give me 5 minutes. Let me go over the programs. I'll leave you with the information. I'll answer any questions you have. Get out of your hair. But this way, at least you have the information. So if later you do decide, this is something you are interested in, you'll at least have the information. You'll have my contact information. Does that sound okay? Can you give me 5 minutes? And if they shut me down again, you know what? It's not meant to be. I'm moving on. You know what I mean? I just know if I do my job and I deliver a good door knock script and I keep to the script, I'm confident in the way I'm delivering it that I'm going to get into more houses. The more presentations I make, the more applications I'm going to write. So I hope this information has been helpful. Again, let me see if I have any questions. We got a great attendance today. Jimmy, anything you want to add, comment on, or add before we sign off?
No, that's good. I'm glad it's in a little early because I have an appointment I got to be on right at 11:30. So it's works for me. Good job, Joe.
All right, everybody. All right, man. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks again, Jimmy, for being on. Guys, if you need help, if you want to call, maybe you didn't raise your hand because maybe you didn't want to role play, in front of a bunch of people, call me direct. Let's go over your script. Let's handle some objections. Let's get you in more houses. All right, everybody. God bless. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, Jimmy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.